Welcome to Chalk Talk. Happy New Year, Festivus, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas. If you pray to the moon, that's Rob Valore. He's there. I'm Andy Billman. Here. Merry Christmas. Come in peace. Come in peace. The Browns are still playing football. It's amazing. They play Miami this week. Joe Bitonio gives his thoughts about it's starting to become a sad scene in Berea, Ohio. He gave his thoughts about what he wants to do in the offseason. We'll talk about that. We'll do NFL picks today. The Buckeyes beat the Vols. And let me emphasize, rolled. Blowout. Every game was a blowout. We'll talk about that. And we'll do a little thing on these Guardians. They made a move. They decided to make a trade right before the Christmas season. Josh Naylor gone. Carlos Santana, hello. But first, we have to start with the brown and orange. Rob, good to see you. Hope your holiday was well. Are you excited about the Miami game?
Excited? No, not excited. Well, I'm excited to see what the attendance is like, and I'm excited to see how the audience is going to react when it goes south. I mean, I wonder. You think there'll be 40,000? Fortunately, it's going to be a warm day.
I was going to say 50 degrees. I mean, actually, this is where it breaks wrong. This is where you want 10 degrees, wind chill. It just is breaking all wrong. And by the way, Miami might be eliminated before kickoff. So they may not be playing for much either. And there's a lot of pressure, ironically, on McDaniels and his staff. I kind of concur with where you're going. I have done a lot of Browns coverage. I've been a Browns fan for a long time. Even 0-16 had some anticipation. Wow, there's nothing in this game that no one's talking about. Nothing. Why? Why do you think that is?
Because I think everybody is just so fed up. And Andy, what else can Stefanski say? We got to work harder. True. We got to prepare harder. True. We got to practice harder. It's more of the same old shit, the same old lip service. I do think that if you trot DTR back out there, he was so bad last week. I do think that if you give him another shot, you hope that he could, get a little more rhythm and play better. But I mean, other than that, how Foreman should not be in uniform.
That was a sad fumble.
He shouldn't be on the field. I mean,
that was a coach's error. Guys have played 5 weeks, and he put him on the 1 yard line.
He has not been active. He has not been active in 5 or 6 weeks. And Jerome Ford has a 66-yard run, and then you let Foreman do that to you. The game was over.
Analytics killer. That's an analytics killer. And I'm going to talk about the other thing too. So the worst thing that happens is 99 yards. Okay. And Diabite gets an offsides. You can't even let him out of jail. It's like you can't even get that right.
Yeah.
I actually think there's no excitement about this game because there's no hope.
No.
And I'll be honest with you, I do get the feeling this is an important game for Stefanski. And I'm going to tell you why. The Ravens game is a throwaway. I think decisions will have been made by the Ravens game, unless it's an epic blowout, 40-plus points. I've learned in sports, if any team in football, college or pro, was by 40 or more, now anything's on the table going in the offseason.
Yeah, but Andy, if the Ravens game, let me ask you this. If the Ravens need that game for seeding, does he go back to Jameis and try to win that game?
See, I think it's open season. I think that's the game. And I would actually advise the Browns this. Shut down Myles Garrett. Shut down these players. You should not be playing against the Ravens. Should not be. It's time to rest players.
Yeah,
It's a meaningless game. I'm actually there as a fan. Get a draft pick. Who cares? You're not beating the Ravens with Zappe or DTR. Quick thing on DTR. Terrible performance. And I'm going to be hard on the kid. Got to play better than that. And you're injury prone. Have a calf injury again?
Yeah, already.
Gosh.
But is that a phantom calf injury? because.
Buddy, I'm done. I was a DTR supporter. At the end of the game, I'm like, seen enough.
Right.
Seen enough. He'll look terrible.
You hope that. Listen, the first game that Cooper Rush came in, and I'm not saying DTR is ever going to be Cooper Rush, but when Dak went out, Cooper Rush looked awful.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, now Cooper, they were saying, "Oh, we're going to see Trey Lance. We're going to see Trey Lance." We never saw Trey Lance.
No.
Cooper Rush is now better than serviceable. I mean, the Cowboys have actually done they've hung around, and of course they're done.
McCarthy knows what he's doing. He's a competent coach.
They've done a nice job. Now, obviously, DTR isn't Cooper Rush, but can we see something better this week out of DTR?
I think it's important. This is the game. This is it. I'm telling you, the Baltimore game's not for the Ravens, for us, because I'm going to scream this. If your players are hurt, shut them down. This is a nothing game next week. I hate the Ravens. If Njoku's injured, now I'm going to do another rant. Tillman. The league the Browns need to storm New York and say, we have fucking had it with the Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
They've knocked out Nick Chubb. They've knocked out Muhammad Massaquoi. They've knocked out Cribbs. McCoy. The latest now is Tillman. He's going to miss another game, it sounds like.
Yeah.
When is this shit going to stop?
He might as well not play the rest of the year. And he was
seriously.
He was on fire. Okay, he was on fire, and listen, it's criminal.
It is. It really is, actually.
Nobody does anything about it.
When is someone going to stand up for the Browns and be like, when is this shit going to stop? They knock out our players every year. It's significant playing time.
Yes.
Cedric Tillman's like gone. He's just gone. And I feel for the kid. Anyways, back to this game. Here's my go for it. Sorry. Go for it.
Now, here's what's on the flip side about the DTR thing. I do feel bad for Judy because Judy was trending up tremendously. Okay?
Yeah, we know we got there. Yeah,
we know what we have there. Now, would it matter? I mean, he got his yards. Would it matter? I also think that we kind of got robbed of an instant classic because if Jameis would have played against Joey B, it would have been a shootout. When the Bengals played the most vanilla. They rolled it up and tried not to lose.
It was.
What I'm saying?
Both games were uncompetitive for the Browns.
Oh,
both games.
They just rolled it up, and it was a very vanilla,
boring. I mean, DTR's throwing the balls in the end zone. I'm actually gonna push back. The Jameis Winston thing. I've seen it come and gone. I think I want to see Zappe, but next week against the Ravens, I do want to see Thrash. I want to see Woods. I want to see these guys like Foreman. I want to see like these guys give one. I don't
want to see Foreman. I've seen enough of that son of a bitch. But go on.
You can take that comment. I'm going to add. I am good with Pierre Strong. Pierre sucks. Terrible player. Terrible!
This is his second year on the roster.
He's garbage. He doesn't do anything. And please walk out Pro Schaefer punt returns because he's not nerve-wracking. Hopkins misses a kick.
Tillman's out. Tillman is now confirmed out. Breaking news.
Of course he is.
Tillman is out. And,
of course he is. Of course he is.
Thank God Hopkins won't be kicking. We got that other kid, Zamet, whatever. Hopkins won't be kicking. Shut him down.
They
should have just kept. They shouldn't have put the other kid, Patterson, back on the practice squad because you knew somebody else's kicker was going to get it.
The Browns are so out of touch with how to control their roster right now.
But okay,
so out of control.
Out of touch. Now, Billman, that's where you hit the nail on the head. Your owners, Jimmy and Dee Haslam, are so out of touch with reality that this entire organization is out of touch with reality to the city of Cleveland, to the fact that they're parading this beautiful complex in Berea, 2029, blah, 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 blah. They are ignorant to the city of Cleveland, to the average Joe.
I'll be honest with you, they're ignorant to everyone.
Look
put
at
out
what
that
they're
shit
doing.
in February, March. You'll put those press releases out in February, March, I understand. It's football season. I want to talk about Miami. I want to talk about your upper deck tickets. I don't care. I don't care right now.
And it is becoming harder and harder as a staunch defender of Kevin Stefanski. It is becoming harder and harder of a pill to swallow, Andy. It is just, I mean, there's nothing. He looks like a defeated man.
I mean, this team's quit. I mean, look.
He looks like he wants to get the hell out of here himself.
I'm going to say this again. The Miami game's very important. This is a winnable game. There's a good chance Miami's going to get knocked out. And I will predict if Miami gets knocked out by Sunday at 4 o'clock, there'll be little effort by the Fish. They do not care. Why would they care?
Right.
They're knocked out. So this is your one opportunity to regain something in the offseason. I will say it again. The Ravens, I've learned this, that Week 18 game is nothing. It's a nothing burger. The only thing you can't do is lose by 40 plus. Lose by 40 plus, then
you clean house.
Yeah, now you got a problem. Anyways,
okay. Real quick. We haven't talked about Miles. I applaud Miles for getting to the podium.
Good job. Need to do it. Thank you. Thank you for speaking your mind.
And he clarified about the quarterback situation. In his opinion, the savior is not involved.
He said what you and I talk about, what others talk about. Hey, I want a fucking plan.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear talk about stadiums and future events and my God. And I'm going to tell you this, Browns management, please stop talking about Watson on any level.
Oh.
Don't even mention him. And they've hidden him again. Thank God. They started to bring him back. And it's like, what are you doing? Put him in Siberia and let him do nothing. I mean, someone had to grab him and be like, you better stop posting on social media.
Yeah.
And just sit there and enjoy life.
He's rubbing it in our face.
Oh, awful. How could he? Okay, Miami. This is a winnable game. Telling you, the Browns can win this game. I think the Dolphins will be knocked out before this game. I think Tua is on bubble wrap.
Oh, yeah.
Tyreek Hill's got no interest. None. No. I don't see the Dolphins playing hard at all in this game.
McDaniel's a goofy bastard anyways. I wonder if he'll be wearing those, what the hell you call them, three-quarter short, that my mom used to wear. What the hell are them pants that, you know what I'm saying? Those
capris.
Yeah, the capris, yes. My mom used to wear the
He's
capris.
Very European.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy who's bought way too much into the Miami of the situation and not enough into the football. But that's for Miami Dolphin fans to debate.
Yeah, pissed
I could care less. All that to be said, what I saw from DTR, what I'm seeing from the staff, Joel Bitonio's statement, which is fair, this just sounds like a funeral. I don't think the Browns are going to win. I can't believe I'm saying this. I thought they were going to win this game weeks ago. I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they're going to beat the Dolphins.
Even if the Dolphins are eliminated, you think that?
I think it's a funeral.
I agree with you. I agree. I just don't see the crowd is going to be the
malaise.
Irate. It's got malaise.
Malaise. Yeah, I don't even think
people. It's
I again, like, I love Joel. Yeah, hey, I might retire. It's like, oh no. It's like, geez, I don't want to hear about this after the season, man.
But he knows they're probably gonna get rid of him.
Just feels like a funeral. It's really sad. I give Denzel Ward credit. He's trying to play the role of Clevelander really well. I don't know what to say about the running back room.
I'll tell you what, the New York Giants are doing it right. They are. No, listen. They're shutting everybody down. Tyrone Tracy, Malik Neighbors.
They are getting ready for the hurricane. They put up plywood.
Shut everybody down and put the ball boy. I mean, Drew Lock, it shouldn't even be in the UFL. They're horrible.
I can't say it enough. That's why I think this game's important for Stefanski.
And every year,
gotta look confident.
And every year, the Raiders screw themselves up and win their last 2 or 3 games and go from the number 1 pick to the next. And Antonio Pierce will save his job, another asshole. But
Titans and Jaguars will take a spot from us, which is great. So that means we'll move another leg. I'm going to say this again. I do think it's important for Stefanski to look good in this game. He has looked really shitty here down the stretch. In a flat 20-3 loss, you can only handle so much if you're the Haslams.
Right.
They could really use a win. I think it's an important game. I just am not hearing any zip from anybody.
Nothing. No.
I can't get over it.
Nobody has any – I don't think anybody has any confidence in DTR. 20-3 sounds perfect because I can't see them moving the football with this kid.
3 points. I think they'll get 3.
Unless he breaks out and scrambles for 17 yards and they get lucky, but I can't. I mean,
I see Zappe playing by the third quarter. I actually would predict that if I could. I think Zappe will be in by halftime.
Injury or pull him for lack of production?
Both. DTR always gets hurt. I'm not trying to pound on a kid. I do want to be fair to him. He seems like a nice gentleman. I was so unimpressed by the Bengal game. I was just so underimpressed. This injury stuff, he's always injured. I can't. By the way, Njoku, Ogbo might be out. They both didn't practice the last 2 days.
Don't play him.
Shelby Harris has gone to IR. You'll never see him again.
He's done.
He's a free agent. I don't know what to say. And I'm not excited about Pierre Strong and Foreman and Michael Wood stinks. I don't need to see him. By the way, I'm fearful. I think Thrash stinks. I don't like what I'm seeing from Thrash. Don't like it. Early on, not impressed by what I'm seeing at all.
Yeah, but you like. I think when Jameis was throwing the ball, I liked what I saw from him.
See, I wasn't impressed. I just was so down after the Bengals game. I'm angry now. I'm just like, this bad. They're bad. By the way, I do want to make one other note, then we can transfer over to the draft and other things. I am really hoping next week or at the end of the season, I want to hear what's going on with JOK. I am just really curious about the young man. It's really gone away, that storyline. I would like to hear what he's up to. I just want to hear what he's going on. I feel bad for him. He's a good player for us.
I read a couple of reports from Mary Kay that he's constantly texting the guys in the linebacker room, and he's giving them tips, and he's staying in contact with them, but it nothing.
Nothing.
Is he ever going to play again? Did he almost die? It happened, and we don't know. I mean, 4 weeks ago he was questionable.
It's so weird.
What the hell? It's so weird.
I just want to know what's going on. He's a good player for us. We need him.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Can we just get something? All right, we got to transition to be a realist. The draft's going to be here before we know it. So let's talk about the draft. I got this, I believe, from CBS Sports or Fox Sports. So I apologize to either one. I know it's one of those two. Here's the picks from around the country. Ready? Yahoo's got Abdul Carter, defensive end, Penn State. Good player. USA Today and the Draft Network have Graham out of Michigan, the defensive tackle. The 33rd team, which I've never heard of, they have a Banks, offensive tackle out of Texas. ESPN's been leaning that way too. And then CBS Sports has got Will Campbell, offensive tackle, LSU. I'll sprinkle in these names because I think these names are in the top 5, 10. Sanders, Colorado quarterback, Ward quarterback, wide receiver cornerback Travis Hunter, and then again the kid Banks out of Texas. I'll let you lead off. What are your thoughts here? Well, I mean, they're drafting 5. They might draft 4 by the time this is done.
Okay, here's what I'll tell you. Out of these guys that you said, these projections from Yahoo and USA Today, here's what I like. They're all predicting either offense or defensive line.
Yeah, I agree.
And here's what, and I've stated on this show before, and I've stated on other shows. Championship football starts with offense and defensive lines. And Andy, we don't have good offense or defensive lines. If you look at not even a month ago, Bill Belichick went to the University of North Carolina, the Tar Heels. Michael Lombardi, one of my heroes, became his general manager. Within 24 hours, they got over 1,500 pounds of offense and defensive linemen recruits they recruited to their
Chapel. Yep.
To Chapel Hill. That's how you start. That's how you build a winning program. We obviously, Andy, the Browns don't have a winning program. So, and while I know a lot of guys want Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, Travis Hunter, none of that matters if you can't protect them, if you can't cover them. Right.
Yeah.
It'll be just like we could have we could talk for 3 hours about if the Browns would have drafted Josh Allen, he wouldn't have been Josh Allen because we couldn't have protected him. He would have gotten killed. So so that's what I like about those projections. Give me an offense or defensive line. Give me an edge rusher. Give me a big lineman that's going to be. Give me another Joe Thomas. Go ahead.
So when my time at ESPN, I spent a lot of time with two former GMs. Both had won Super Bowls, multiple Super Bowls, as building rosters. And I take this from both. I agree with Rob about defensive line. If they draft a defensive lineman, either the tackle or defensive end, great. Both of these gentlemen recommended, and I believe in the same theory, draft offensive linemen at the top of the second round and beyond. In the first round, skill players or defensive line is fine. I think defensive line is great. I would take a sniff at Travis Hunter if he's there. Kid's a star. Mm-hmm. I would take a sniff at Sanders or Ward. I'm fine with that. But I don't disagree with what Rob just said about defensive line underline. I don't like taking offensive linemen early. I don't. I learned from these two, and they gave reasoning behind it, and I'll do that on another show. But I'll keep it short today. Defensive line.
I do, and here's the thing. While I'm a firm believer you have to build your team, a championship team on the line, offense and defense.
Yes.
I do believe that offensive line is you could find a kid in the 7th round or an undrafted free agent, a 6'5", 350-pound kid from Northern Iowa that you could make into a great offensive lineman. That I agree with.
And that's what these two were saying. That's what That's what those two were saying. They go, it's a lot easier to manipulate that spot. They go, it's a lot easier to manipulate safety in the later rounds. It's hard at these other positions.
Yeah.
And but this one guy in particular, I don't want to say his names. I don't want to give it away, but I'll say this. He mentioned he got burned in the past by drafting high in the secondary, and he learned you have to draft defensive line. And he built a strong defensive line, and he goes, it led us to Super Bowls. And he goes, I will never, ever. And we had an all-world secondary. He goes, but our defensive line was average. He goes, it wasn't bad, it was average. And we always stopped short in the playoffs. My second team, this would have been his third team. His third team, he learned, he drafted defensive linemen. And he goes, we won Super Bowls. Changed everything. So I'm a big believer in defensive line. And that's why these defensive linemen, yes. But I would sniff those other guys too. We'll get more into that later.
And finish it up on the draft because we've wasted enough time on these buffoons. I think, Andy, if the current regime is still drafting, I think on draft night, it's not going to be as it's a shame that on draft night it's going to be back to our Super Bowl again.
Oh, it is, and I will emphasize after the Miami game, I think that Ravens game is no value. I'm going to start pounding the pavement. When are we going to fire Dee Podesta? When are we going to get a new offensive staff? When are we going to get rid of Bubba Ventrone? I can do it today, but I'm worried about that. And I know what Rob's saying, and I'm going to echo it. I'm tired of hearing about analytics. Tired. It's boring, and we're 3-12. But yet we're winning analytics. Who cares? Well, speaking of analytics, Netflix was a big winner on Christmas Day because of the Chiefs-Steelers game. Steelers. Au revoir. Good to see them get shellacked 29-10. And then poor Tomlin after the game, been there before. And then the Ravens and Texans, boy, Okay, I'm going to do a minute rant on the Texans. Very disappointing second season from Stroud. Very disappointing season from the Texans. There's a good chance they go 9-8, and they're in the playoffs obviously already. Boy, Stroud, who I was supportive throughout his ISA career, what a sideways backwards step. Just
okay. Let me start with the Steelers first of all. Tomlin has really the last 3 games has his what the hell has he been doing? He started
caught up to him. Finally caught up to him.
Yes, with the Thursday night in Cleveland where he had some questionable coaching. It's and throughout his career he's had some streaks where he has these 3-game losing streaks.
And this year, the Steelers had a very heavy-handed light schedule than heavy.
Yes.
And their second half's been heavy.
Yes.
And they're finally playing the Eagles, the Chiefs. And enjoy. And they keep losing and good.
They'll be a one and done. They're not going to make a deep run.
I think it's starting. And by the way, Pickens is a disaster. That is a problem. I'm telling you. Yeah. I love it. That is a problem. So that kid's got talent and he's an attitude problem.
He's a head case. Is he another Antonio Brown?
That display of frustration on that penalty, I would have been like, just go to the locker room.
Yeah.
Take care.
Sit down, kid.
Dude, it's 29-10. What are you complaining about?
Right.
The game's over.
Right.
Jeez. Steelers have some real issues. And I'll tell you, to what Rob just said, I don't see it. I don't see it turning around. And this vaunted defense doesn't look good.
No, not at all. And then, and I've been saying all year, and I like C.J. Stroud, not going to pick on the kid. But it's simple. It's the sophomore regression.
Yeah.
Not only with him, with D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
Tank Dell. Tank Dell going out. They're backing into the playoffs. They really are. They really are. But they've had some regression.
Regression. Like it's actually. This is when you know it's more of a story. It's getting picked up more nationally now.
Yeah.
And that's not good for the Texans. It's now getting observed on a whole new level. So, those are those 4. I did watch a little bit of the Steelers game. I'll be honest, I can't stand the Ravens. So once I saw the score, what it was early, I'm like, bye. And I went back to doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
Did not really mention much.
Now, on the Netflix part, to cut you off, excuse me here, the ratings were fantastic.
They were?
They absolutely kicked the NBA's ass, which we will do a whole show on why the NBA is absolutely struggling at another time. The NBA is really struggling right now to get ratings.
Yeah, I think it's going to rebound, though. I do. But that's for another day.
But I think that the Netflix production was Mickey Mouse at best. I think the graphics sucked. I think their pregame outfit with RG3 and Manti Te'o was and the other. I didn't love it.
It's very elementary.
Yes, a good word. Although I will say, even though I didn't know one song, Beyonce's halftime show was probably better than the Super Bowl. That was entertaining to me.
That's so funny. I totally missed it. I didn't even know she.
Oh, I thought she did a good job. That was
good for her. That's excellent.
2 shitty games. The Chiefs. Who's going to stop the Chiefs, man?
I see. This is where I love it. It's building. You can feel it now. If you really, okay, I'm going to do it. Really want to get through the bullshit? Chiefs, Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, AFC Championship game will be very good to watch.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs are on their way. This reminds me of the Niners. I won't even compare it to the Patriots because I think the Niners to me were more of a machine. This is just the Chiefs are just a machine.
Yeah.
They just get it done. And to tell you how much machine-like it was, they embarrassed the Steelers.
Yep. That was
woof. That's why he was going to be a bit about an post-game press conference. I mean, they got embarrassed. Beware, Cincinnati. That's not going to be a fun Week 18 game.
I mean, Andy Reid brought his Santa Claus outfit. I mean, he knew, like, that. Not to, they're playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers. I mean, we could use the catchphrases all day.
They basically get 3 weeks off now.
Oh yeah, they get a month off, man.
Tell you folks, good. I agree with Rob. I'm riding that wave. It's the Chiefs against the field. It feels that way.
Oh, absolutely.
It feels that way. The Lions have lost their luster. And there's a lot of talk about the Packers from Sharps. Anyways, we'll do that a different day. But yes, I agree with you. Amazon ended with like a bad gift at Christmas, 6-3. I don't have anything to add. It was a terrible game. I knew it was a terrible game. The Bears have outdone themselves. They've lost now 10 in a row, I believe. I think it's now 10.
Yeah.
Let's see if I got this right. They have
11. Yeah, 10 in a row.
I want to make sure I got this right. They are embarrassing.
Thomas Brown took over for Matt Eberflus, who botched the end of the Lions game. I mean, who was a buffoon. And now Thomas Brown last night was just as egregious. I mean, how these teams don't have you see all these coaches and personnel on the sidelines, how you don't have somebody in somebody's ear that does nothing else but work on clock management and tell these guys they're so smart they're stupid.
That's exactly right.
He wasted 30 seconds. He's standing there with he's like this. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Call a play.
I was watching some older games on YouTube. And I actually will tell you the flow of the game is gone. There needs to be less focus on play calling and more on the players in game. Mm-hmm. Because the rhythm in these games in the 80s and 90s had a lot more good rhythm to it. Too many times now, cutaways to the coach. Who cares? Play on the field. The Bears have a lot of issues with this. Again, there's red flags for us, so we get it.
But do you know why, though? But in the 80s and 90s, the coaches weren't in these kids' ears.
Okay? I saw Dan Reeves. You're right.
And Jimmy, it wasn't. Yeah. They are so. Everything is so. And when I say analytical, everything is so. We are breaking everything down. It's so more detailed. In the 80s and 90s, it was, if a running play might have been a 32 dive, or it was everything now is so much more detailed. So it's the reads and
sure.
Everything that these kids are doing. So it's hard to get in a rhythm. These quarterbacks were going up there, and I think, and I don't have any proof, but a lot of times they were calling the shit at the line of scrimmage, right? The quarterbacks were.
It just has a lot more rhythm back then. Quarterbacks are calling plays. Again, is the game more crisp today? Yes. Is it faster? Yes. Is it big difference in play to play? Watching these games in the 80s and 90s, not really. Fumbles still happen back then. Fumbles still happen today. Mistakes still happen. And like Rob was just saying, these brain cramps by these coaches, it's not clean.
No.
Anyways, Bears are bad team. It's amazing. I will say this. This year in the NFL, there's a lot of bad teams. And the Browns are obviously among them. All right, let's do some picks.
Well,
Chargers.
real quick.
Yeah.
There's 32 NFL teams. There's a lot of bad coaches. There's a lot of bad coaches, and that is really. I mean, I wasn't on the Caleb Williams bandwagon, and I probably never will be.
Sure.
But there's. I mean, the decision making, I think, is at an all-time low because of analytics. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I do.
We're making stupid decisions. Well, because analytics say,
Well, let's go deeper. The Bills were really the team in my eyes in the late 80s, early 90s that came up with this. They called it the K gun, where they basically had 5 linemen and everybody was spread out in shotgun.
Yep.
But they could do it because they were elite, and that played to their strength. That doesn't mean every team has to do it. The Browns are a great example. Put an extra tackle in the fucking game so the quarterback doesn't get killed, okay?
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep.
Like, seriously. Like, there used to be 6-man lines, and no one blinked.
Yep.
And there are times where it's like, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is the Browns' offensive line's been much worse in past 10 years. But this line's, let's just say the left tackle's getting there. Put an extra tackle beside a Fetty. Yeah. Help him out. He's drowning.
Yeah.
Help him. What are you going to keep doing? 5-man fronts and hold your ankles? Jeez. I mean, every time. It's like, again, the Bills did this in the 90s because it played to their strengths.
Yeah.
There was a good 50% of the league that actually had 5-man lines back in the 80s and 90s. I'm sorry, 6-man lines. 6-man lines, sorry. The Browns are one of those teams right now that could use an extra offensive lineman. And frankly, these wide receivers are not justifying needing 3 or more. We're not that good.
Mm-mm.
Like, we're throwing things that I just don't. It's funny. Analytics has lessened creativity to me.
Right.
In situations like, but that's not who we are.
Right.
Well, we're going to kill the running game. But that is our staple for the last 10 years.
Right.
So you're going to kill it?
Kill the running game. Kill the I form. Jesus Christ.
And we're going to draft the running back? No, sir. No, sir. It's like,
why would we do that?
Anyways, we could do this all day. All right. Chargers, Pats, Saturday, 1 o'clock. Guarantee you won't watch much of this game. I am not interested at all. The Chargers are a 4.5-point favorite. I know the Patriots were competitive against the Bills. They're still terrible. I will put money on the Chargers in this game. Love the Chargers in this game. Love them. They will have no problem covering. Patriots are bad. Bad team.
I agree. I mean, I do like Drake May, but I don't like Gerard Mayo. I think I've stated that many times on the show.
Goofy team.
Goofy team.
Because they're different from the Browns as you see players that are competent, but boy, they just have breakdowns. I don't know how to say it. And they have good quarterback play. It's a very weird team. Broncos, Bengals, this is actually a big game. Why? If the Broncos win, they basically lock it up. It's over. They're basically going to the playoffs. And same for the Chargers, by the way. Chargers beat the Pats. They're in. I love the Chargers. This is a different game. Broncos, Bengals to me is very difficult. Even the odds makers are kind of feeling what I'm feeling. It's a push. They're giving the Bengals 3.5. You always give the home team 3. Mm-hmm. So they're giving them a half more. I would stay away from this game. I think it's very difficult to call. I could see the Broncos being tight. The thing that plays in the hands for the Bengals, no weather issues. 60 degrees and warm in Cincinnati. Warm day.
Okay. I love the over. I think it was at 49.
49.5. Yeah.
I love the over. And this, to me, this is going to, in my opinion, this is a classic Joey B game. I think as long as Zach Taylor stays out of his own way, I think the Bengals win and cover in this spot.
Wow.
Bo Nix has been great. He's been solid as a rookie. They could put up points. Sean Payton, we know Sean Payton is probably a Hall of Fame coach. But I just think this is a game. The Bengals always seem to do this. They can never win a game in September. They somehow turn it on at the right time, and this is going to be their. Give me the Bengals and the over.
Big game. Cardinals and Rams, sort of a big game. Cardinals are eliminated. Rams are just quietly sailing along. You don't really hear much about them nationally, but they're quietly 9-6. They're actually having a pretty good season now.
Yeah.
McVay, again, he doesn't get enough attention. It's weird.
Testament to McVay.
All the attention in the world before the Super Bowl win, nothing after it. They're 6.5-point favorites here at home. I've learned this division's goofy. I do think the Cardinals' loss to the Panthers, though, was backbreaking. So I lean towards the Rams here. I feel comfortable with it. But because it's the West, and the West is weird and wild, I would stay away from it. That's the only reason why I'm staying away from it. These games tend to be weird and wild with this division. So I'm going to stay away from it. But if you like the Rams, I get it.
I would take the Rams. I think with the Cardinals,
backbreaking loss.
You don't know what Kyler. You have no idea.
He looked bad.
Yeah.
That I watched in that game with my son. Bad loss.
Yeah.
Cardinals. That was a bad loss. They lost to the Panthers. Ugh, bad loss. Panthers played.
It was a hell of a game.
Entertaining
game. After that, I don't know how they may come out flat, and
Yeah.
McVay, that they have a young defense. The Rams Stafford is a pro, and you're right. McVay has done a fantastic job.
Really, he's done a great job. Guy wins.
Give me the Rams in the 6.5 before it gets to 7.
Jets and a good tip. Hear that again from you, everybody out there. Take it now before it gets to a touchdown. Rob's making a good tip there. He's right. Jets and Bills, 9.5. I would take the Bills all day. The Jets are incompetent. They are not a good team. I don't care. This is a divisional game. I think the Jets get rolled in this game. They had another bad loss at home to the Rams last week. Bad loss. Rams played well enough to win, but the Jets fumbles and missed out. Just bad team. They can't kick field goals either, by the way. Another team that can't make a field goal.
No. They they fired Robert Saleh, and they got much worse. This guy's awful. They've regressed. Aaron Rodgers, who's 40, he's playing like he's 47. The Bills, the only thing that worries me, it's 9.5. I agree with you. The Bills are going to have no problem winning this game. The Bills are going to have no problem. But I think you're going to see the Bills be vanilla in the second half because they're just going to – I think they're going to get up. They're going to let's just mail it in and get the hell out of here.
Could happen. Raiders, Saints. This line would scare me. It's the reason why I wouldn't even touch it. The Raiders are in New Orleans, and they're a 1.5 favorite. I think that says a lot about what they think of the Saints. And I think the Raiders are terrible. Well, don't bet this game. Stay away. Stay away.
It's a Monday night game. The Packers, the Saints couldn't move the football with Ritter, or who the hell was the
How did we lose this team? Jesus Christ.
Well, but the Saints didn't play. They had nobody. Taysom Hill wasn't there. Listen, I'm going to disagree with you. The Raiders are going to win this game because this is the Raider way. The Raiders they're going to end the season on a hot streak. They're going to go nuts, and then they're going to get on their high chair and say, let's keep Antonio Pierce. He won the last 4 games of the year.
Absolutely.
And then they went from the first pick to the 9th pick. That's the Raider way. I'm all over the Raiders.
The Saints and Jaguars. Very good. Excellent. Colts, Giants. Oh, my God. Take the Colts and run away. If you got a farm, you might bet on this game. I love the Colts. I love the Colts. Love the Colts. They're playing for pride. They're one of the few teams that plays for pride. They're embarrassed by that fumble that happened to Taylor. Giants are dead. I got nothing else to say. Love the Colts this game. We'll be betting on this game. 7.5.
Flacco's practicing. Anthony Richardson did not practice yesterday. He's banged up. But like I said earlier, the Giants are doing it right. Neighbors isn't playing.
No.
Tracy's not playing.
No.
The only thing I could say here, folks, put the women and children to bed. Bet the franchise on the Colts because the Giants, they don't want to win this game.
They don't want to win. They have no interest. No interest. If Brian Daboll keeps his job, holy cow. Cowboys, it'll be, oh my God.
He may.
I know. It's crazy. That's crazy. Cowboys, Eagles. Cowboys are actually a good story. They have faint playoff hopes. They're on the road against the Eagles here. Eagles have been red hot. They're getting 7.5. I actually will give a friendly tip. I would stay away from this game. I could see the Cowboys covering it. I don't like the Eagles enough to take it. I don't like the Cowboys enough to take it either. Stay away from this game, in my opinion. The total's only 38.5. Boy, it's low. Tells you that they don't think Hurts is going to play or do anything in this game.
Here's what I would watch that line because as of this morning, Hurts was banged up.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett is banged up. Mm-hmm. And if you notice, if it was Christmas or Christmas Eve, I think they signed Ian Book. So if you sign a quarterback off the scrap heap, I think that tells you somebody's not playing. I would take the Cowboys if you're whoever the hell's their third string quarterback. I think the Cowboys are playing hard.
They really are.
McCarthy. And do the Eagles need this game? I wouldn't play.
I think the Lions, the Vikings have the 1 seed. Obviously, the Eagles are there. I can't read this game because I can see the Eagles winning by 10 or more. I really can. Cowboys aren't good, but they're playing hard. Sometimes in games like this, where there's a little bit of pressure on the Eagles here, and Saquon Barkley's going for that Eric Dickerson this week coming out saying, I don't want Saquon Barkley to break my record.
The Eagles may not need to throw the ball. Just let him. I was going to say,
just let him run. I would stay away. I think it's a dangerous game. Yeah. For how much I love the Colts Giants, I don't like that game, and I don't like the Bengals Bronco game either. Panthers Buccaneers, holy cow! You would think 2 weeks ago, Bucks, and they're giving up 8. I would take the Bucks here, but the Panthers have shown a lot of fight. So I wouldn't love it. I'm not going to probably bet it because of that. The 48.5 is a goofy line to me too, as I could see the under here. Buccaneers need this game, so I think the Buccaneers are going to play well. The Panthers are fighting hard. I don't know. I guess the Bucks, but Panthers have played well lately.
I like because the Panthers have played so well. Give me the Panthers in the 8.5.
Sure.
And also give me the over because
interesting.
Just the way that the Tampa defense has been a sieve lately, and the Panthers just are not they're not really good, but they're off. Bryce Young has actually shown signs of life, so I think the Panthers could hang around. You're right. The Buccaneers need this game. I think it'll be an entertaining. I think that'll be an entertaining game to watch.
I agree. I can see the Panthers really fighting it. Titans, Jaguars. Holy cow! Tickets are $24. The Browns tickets are $10. Anyways, Titans, Jaguars. Wow.
Criminal.
A point for the Titans, and they're on the road. I have no comment. I would not bet this game whatsoever. Don't care. Have no heart. Browns are going to get a better seating in the draft. I don't know.
The last I looked, the over was 39.5.
It is.
Just for giggles, I'd put pizza money on the over. I don't know why. How? What do you have? Mac Jones and Mason Rudolph.
Warren Moon.
Yeah. Somehow they can get to 21-20. I don't know.
By the way, the Browns number now for total against the Dolphins now 38.5. Jeez.
Because they don't think the Browns are going to score with DTR.
They're right. The Packers play the Vikings. That's probably the game I'll end up watching in the backgrounds. I'll watch the Browns game. I do watch every play in the Browns game. My kid kills me every week, but I do it. And I'll be there this week. I'm going to Browns-Packers bar to sit with other people and commiserate and give mental hugs.
Is anybody
I was going to say, it'll be Ted and Biff and Norm. Packers and Vikings, though, I like this game a lot. This is a great game. For a lousy week of games, this one is sexy to me. Oh, man, I think the Packers are playing so well. I actually will take the Packers here as an underdog on the road. They're 1.5. They're only getting 1.5, so it's not a lot. I really like how the Packers are playing. It reminds me of last year. I think the Packers will win this game. I do. I think they're going to win. I would take the Packers here. Don't love it, but I like it.
We're on the opposite ends on this one. The Vikings have just been. I think O'Connell is the presumptive coach of the year, in my opinion.
He's done a really nice job.
Sam Darnold has just been, unbelievable. We thought when they lost those 2 games, the other shoe was going to drop. Just because of that, we've been waiting for the Vikings to fall apart. Brian Flores has got that defense.
Playing well.
I mean, they've been playing well. I got to go with the Vikings. That should be a hell of a game.
Great game. Great game. Can see it going either way. I'll remind why I'm on the opposite opinion here of my partner. Packers did this last year, and they look like last year again.
Yeah.
Where they're riding really hot and hard in the playoffs. Falcons, Commanders, sneaky good game. Falcons are actually in the playoffs. The Buccaneers are not. Commanders need to cement themselves in the playoffs. Actually, a good game. Falcons, Commanders here. Commanders are getting 4.5. Penix played better last week, but the Giants, I don't know what you say about that. I think but again, rookie quarterback here too with Daniels.
Aren't the Commanders are given a 4, right?
They're given the 4.5. I said the opposite. I apologize.
Okay, sorry.
I would take the Commanders here. I'll say it the same way about the Packers. I like the Commanders here. I don't love it. Mm-hmm. I do like the Commanders here. I think the total's all wrong. It's 47.5. I would take the under.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I love the Commodores. I think that I've liked them all year. I think that Dan Quinn will confuse Michael Penix this week.
Sure.
When I first looked at this, I thought, man, these 2 kids, I thought it was my first thought would have been shootout. But now that maybe it will be an under.
Penix, I can see Penix coming down. For those who didn't watch, Falcons scored 2 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
I can see this going the opposite way. This is only game 2 for him in a primetime game. Good Lord.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure on Penix. Now, hey, weird things can happen. Maybe he tears it up. I don't think Penix is there yet.
No.
I can see the Falcons really struggling this game. Again, Lions, Niners. Holy cow, the Niners are bad. Yep. 3.5-point favorites for the Lions on the road. I don't understand this line. I like the Lions a lot in this game.
Yeah, me
Niners
too.
are bad.
Yep. And it's a shame. Let me say this real quick. I agree. I'm all over the Lions. It's a shame. I as much as you can't not root for the Lions this year, but they're toast. Too many injuries. They're done. They're done.
The one thing I'll say to that comment is it's getting a lot of traction. The nice thing about this is I don't love the Eagles. I don't love the Vikings. I think the Packers are flawed. And the Rams are flawed. So I think you're going up against teams that you can get the Super Bowl. The problem for the Lions is getting the Super Bowl thing. And then, by the way, as a Browns fan, holy shit. To talk about something like that, I would grab it.
Yeah.
They're not going to be the Chiefs. I don't see the Lions being the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So That's where I come out for the Lions. I don't see it. I like their coach a lot in Campbell. I concur with you about the injuries. I'm not ready to read the. I think the AFC is with you, man. I think the Chiefs are going to roll. The NFC, I don't know. I don't have a read yet. I got to watch these games and see what happens. I can see the Packers. The Eagles just keep winning, so I got to give them credit. I mean,
here's how the Lions, if the Lions do get there, they will get there by Campbell doing something silly, stupid. He does some things that are outrageous. They're down and by 2 scores, and he goes for an onside kick with 8 minutes left, and people are some of his moves are questionable, and when they lose, they're dumb. But when they win, he looks like a genius. So he may have to go into his bag of crazy tricks, and if they work, you know what I'm saying, he may have to do some crazy shit.
No, I'll leave it there. You're right about that comment. We will graduate. I'm just going to say this. We will do a lot in the Buckeyes on Monday. We will do Buckeyes recap of the Vols and that whole fan silliness. What's happening next, because we'll be a day away. So we'll do recap, preview, all that in there. We're going to do Cavs a lot more next week. They finally go on the West Coast. There really isn't anything that happened in between these games. The only thing that's significant is Okoro's still out, but I don't think it's much more than the headline. So let's get to the Guardians, who are for some reason making a lot of noise in the wintertime. I defended the Jimenez trade, and I understood the Jimenez trade. I don't understand this trade, and I'm going to speak up why. You don't always have to get assets back for every player that might go, and that's what it feels like here. Because people are like, it's a salary dump. I'm like, well, they just signed Santana for the same amount of money. So it isn't even about salary here. It's about they wanted to get something for the player. Jimenez made so much sense to me. This one, and I sadly, forgive me to this young man, whoever he is, Slade, great name, Slade Cecconi, and I know he's a first-round pick. His ERA is almost at 7, and you're trading a guy who's your heart and soul of the team, who's a competitor. I don't like this trade. I don't like it. It sours my mood going into the winter for the Guardians.
Andy, I couldn't agree more, and here's why. Because first of all, I did not need Carlos Santana for the 3rd time in 195 in his 35 walks or whatever. Give me Manzardo. Let the kids play. I don't want him to platoon for $12 million. That was aggravating. Second of all, I did a little research on old Slade over here, okay? Slade was the 33rd pick in the 1st round. And listen, this kid has bounced around their organization, and he's never been more than he could be a 3rd or 4th starter, maybe a reliever. He's got mid-90s. He topped out at 98, but his velocity started dropping. You read his scouting reports throughout, a couple of years, and it seems like they didn't know what to do with him. They didn't know where to put him. They were hoping in 24, he was, last year, he was about the 8th or 9th starter after guys got hurt.
Yep.
Okay? So now, or he would be like a bullpen guy. So you're telling me what I'm missing here. We traded a guy who hit 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, a clubhouse, a staple in the clubhouse, a solid guy for a
flyer. I think it feels like a flyer.
I
maybe
don't get this one bit. And I'm the first one to say that Antonetti and Chernoff We can't question them because everything they do somehow works out great. But I don't understand this.
I don't either. I have nothing to add. I just don't get it. Like, if you're going to trade Naylor, can we get a starter? Like, Cecconi's a project. We don't need projects. Like,
He's not a young project. He hasn't shown. He doesn't have. Here's the thing. So I'm reading, Andy. He doesn't have this over. He's not throwing 102 miles an hour. He's not going to be the next Emmanuel Clase.
No.
He's got his true out pitch, according to the D-backs, is a slider. Okay. he throws a curveball and he throws a change. He's in the mid 90s. I mean, he's 6'4". I mean, there's 1,000 guys like that are right-handed, and in his velocity and spin rate. I mean, he doesn't seem like anything special. Okay,
doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Now, unless we were stacking money. If we wouldn't have signed Santana, I could have said, okay, maybe we're stacking money and something big is going to happen, okay? But you give Carlos Santana $12 million, so I can't even justify, hey, we're stacking money. Carlos Santana, $12 million. Carlos Santana cannot hit the baseball.
Great defender. Just can't hit.
Put the kids out there. Put the kids out there.
I don't get it. I don't get this move. I don't get it. Surprised by it. For how much I'll defend him in his trade, and I will to the grave. I can't defend this one. If you're going to trade Naylor, get something back. It's Josh Naylor. I just don't. It's like they didn't. It just. What really bothered me is, I think the players, in talking to Carrasco, value Naylor more than I think the organization did. And I think that's a buyer beware. I mean, what I mean by that is a lot of people, even on my Instagram, his weight. Tony Gwynn was a fat guy. Babe Ruth was not an epic athlete.
Yeah.
Guy get hit, okay? Tired of this, has to be sculpted. Look, get it. He's hefty. Cecil Fielder was healthy. Guys can hit.
Yeah.
Guys can hit. John Kruk was hefty. Guy can hit.
Oh, yeah.
I just think we get way too much into, it's not the prototypical, who cares? Guy can hit. Guy can hit!
Yeah.
I just think I heard way too many of those. Well, the Guardians thought he was out of shape. 30 home runs and 100 RBIs is out of shape?
There's got to be some. Maybe he's banged. There's got to be something else that we're not seeing. I mean, there's got to be.
And I'm going to warn the team that Bo Naylor relationship now is fragile. I don't even have to. That's got to be fragile today.
Well, I saw a little interview with Antonetti, and he said that he was gonna, after the trade, he was gonna reach out to Bo in the next coming couple of days. So I would have reached out to Bo immediately, or even before, like you called Josh and say, hey, Josh, we're moving you. Then as soon as you hang up the phone, I got to call Bo. Somebody's got to call Bo and say, hey, buddy, just so you know, because to me, this is
they have two significant others. They're best friends. They're clearly, these are not brothers. They're like, sometimes you can get people who are just like, these two are close.
Yeah. And I understand business is business. And
that's different. That's different. But the Guardians, we will see what happens next year. It already feels boggled to me.
Yeah.
I mentioned it here. Again, I'll be fair. I felt some things going into the season last year, and they proved me wrong. So I'm going to stop there. It's interesting to see what happens about Naylor. I don't understand this trade. I don't think they got proper value at all.
I would like to find out what they see, and maybe they see something in this kid. But so far, nothing is proved. This kid, you know what I'm saying? Nothing is proved that this kid can be the
and they didn't even get another player. It's like a pick. No. It's just so goofy. It'll
be a second round pick before a third. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a second before a third.
Sure.
So is this kid going to be Greg Swindell? Is he going to be? I mean, what are we going to get out of this kid? Is he going to be? I mean, what are we going to get out of him?
Luis Ortiz, I can see. I understand. Those two left-handed pitchers, I knew who they were. Never heard of Slater.
Is this kid going to be Charlie Nagy? I mean,
the Guardians, again, you said it, so I'll stop. They usually prove me wrong, so I'll just stop there. But this feels like a bad trade. And there's been some times I've been right. Yandy Diaz, Giovanni Urshela. I gotta be honest, it feels like it's in that category here. I don't get it. Don't get it. And again, to sign Santana for the same amount of money, basically. It's like, why not just give the arbitration year to Naylor?
Right.
Goofy. That's all I'm going to say. Goofy, goofy, goofy. We'll do Buckeyes. We'll do Cavs. We'll recap the Fish game on Monday. Go to all of our YouTube pages. Check out all of our videos. You have to sit and wait and think about what our favorite Vols close-up fan face was during the blowout. I have multiple. I've never seen a more bizarre fan group in my life than Tennessee. They act like the game doesn't matter. I've never seen a fan base be like, but we won the fan base. Like,
yeah, they won the fan base. That was something.
And again, they did. And they're not wrong. They did, but
you got to give them credit.
Oh, sure. That's like
credit.
It's that old saying, scoreboard.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a big Ohio State guy. But even I, towards kickoffs, like, please kick the shit out of these guys.
Yes.
Please.
And luckily, it was over quick.
Oh.
For all intents and purposes, it was over quick.
And for all, anyways, we'll do that more next week. We'll tease you. And it's a great Rose Bowl. Ohio State, Oregon's a great Rose Bowl. All right. Rob, Andy, we're wrapping it up real quickly. Rob, so we both think the Browns will lose.
Yeah, sadly.
I do too. We both like the ideas of like Rob's O-line and D-line. I'm more D-line. I would go with skill players. I think that's really key. We both love the Colts this week. You can go back to all of our picks. And we're both scratching our heads after Naylor.
Yep.
That's too bad. All right. We'll be with you before New Year, so we won't say that. But I hope everybody's celebrating whatever holidays. Keep celebrating. Pour a shot for Rob and I. And we'll see you all here Monday. Have a great week. And even in the faith of misery, go Browns.
That's right. Go Browns.
See you guys here on Monday.
Bye-bye.